Ah, man, E3. I think it's fair to say now that E3 is over. It's over, okay? It has been completely replaced by every other little live event that likes to float around now and again. Now, E3 itself, it was always like a fun-ass time. My friend called it a gamer's Christmas, which is really cringy, but it's kind of true. But instead of getting the games, you get to see what you could get. It was always just a fun event where everyone came together and reacted to a bunch of upcoming games. And yes, a bunch of the trailers were always like super misguided and trying to make you purchase the game by showing some cinematic trailer that doesn't really represent the game. But it was just fun, man. There were always two parts to E3. You had the digital stuff, which that was the interesting stuff, and then you had the actual event, the in-person thing. Now, personally, I live in Europe, so going to E3 every single year is goddamn expensive, and I have no willpower to do that. Of course, you always had the main three that showed up, Sony, Xbox, and Nintendo, but you also always had a bunch of like different publishers, Ubisoft, EA, Devolver Digital even, Bethesda, Square Enix. It was just a fun event. Everyone came together and just nerded out over a bunch of upcoming games. It was always a blast, man. But always the main reason why you would watch it was because of the big boys, Sony, Nintendo, and Xbox. Well, in 2019, Sony dropped out because they probably realized that E3 is a gigantic waste of money that is not worth their time. In 2020, E3 was cancelled. In 2021, E3 was like an online thingy which felt very messy, cluttered, and all over the place. It really felt like it didn't really have a real direction. I mean, goddamn, Verizon had like an E3 presentation. Why? Then in 2022, it got cancelled again. I even joked about this on my main channel, and I literally put a cross in E3 in my E3 video, and it basically got completely taken over by Summer Game Fest and the Xbox show. And now in 2023, the big news from IGN, my favorite source for gaming news, had an article saying that the big three, Sony, Nintendo, and Xbox, are all not coming. They are done with E3, and it really feels like that this is the end. Which on the one side, I do kind of understand it, because E3 nowadays, it really isn't necessary. It really has showed it the last like couple of years, ever since Sony left, that it's just like super unnecessary. And Nintendo has been doing Nintendo Directs for years now, and it's clearly working. This is the formula you should follow, like the big on-stage event. It really doesn't cut anymore because there's just so much unnecessary filler and boring garbage. Every single time EA had like an E3 presentation and they are talking about FIFA, literally everyone in the audience is just quiet because nobody cares, and it's the funniest thing ever. In the grand scheme of things, the thing that really happened is that COVID has just dug E3's grave by giving other competitors the chance to replace them, and that's exactly what happened. I mean, I already mentioned Summer Game Fest hosted by Manama Jeff and the Game Awards, which are literally just E3 showings. If you think about it, they have like a big live event, they talk about a few games, they show off a bunch of gameplay, and everyone is just having a good time. That is literally the online part of E3, and it's working. And while E3 was doing nothing, Summer Game Fest was building something up. Nintendo was still doing their little Nintendo Directs, and every other like live streaming event thing was still ongoing, while E3 was literally a mirmir. And then you have Sony and Xbox. Sony stopped E3 to do this like a Sony state of plays, which have been very hit and miss so far, but when they hit, they do really hit. And recently Xbox did a developer direct, and it was great. It worked really well. They even had a shadow drop in the name of Hi-Fi Rush, which made it really stand out, and there was a big spotlight on Minecraft Legends and Redfall. The only thing that E3 now really has is the in-person event, which I must ask, like, is it really necessary? Because most people just watch the online stuff because it is way easier to consume. I get that going to an expo is like a completely different experience, and companies come together there to work together on new projects and start new ideas and brainstorm or whatever and like get feedback from fans. But E3 has built up this reputation of being this big online event where every single little drop of gaming news comes together. But when the three main companies in the gaming industry are not coming, I'm sorry, okay, but it just kind of sounds like your event event is dead in the water. Now, personally, I don't really mind that E3 is going away. Like I said, it already has been kind of replaced by Summer Game Fest and all the other little live event thingies. It's just a bit annoying that everything is gonna be spread a bit thin now, because every company just kind of announces their own games now instead of it all being under the E3 umbrella, which it's gonna suck a bit, but I'm sure we'll manage. Yeah, that's really all I wanted to talk about. I just thought it would be interesting to ramble a bit about this, and who knows, maybe everything that I just covered is all fake, and for some unknown reason, Microsoft, Sony, and Nintendo will still appear at E3 2023, but I doubt it. So yeah, that's the video. Thanks for watching. Bye!